Hi, this is Steffi from Steffi's Beads and Bottles, and I'm going to show you how to make this really pretty charm bracelet. Now obviously, because I'm using one-of-a-kind beads, there's no way for you to make this exact bracelet. But I'm going to show you how you can create different charms to make a beaded bracelet from what you have. I don't know what to do about this lighting. It's terrible. I've got a ring light. I can't really show you the light, but I can show you. It's right here. It's huge. Look how big this light is. It's ginormous. Big, big, giant ring light. I've got it on its brightest setting. I've got a light above me. And then I've got my ceiling fan on. I don't know. It might be my camera's going. I might have to invest in a new camera, but it's very frustrating for me. And, because I don't know what to do. But anyway, every one of these charms is a little bit different, and it's just a lot of fun. So I hope you enjoy this video. It's not a true tutorial, but I just kind of tell you how I do it and what you can do. This piece will be listed on Etsy for $26. I explain that later in the video, but I'll explain it again at the beginning, and then I'll tell you again at the end. When you look at a bracelet like this, it's 33 links. It's the equivalent of making over 15 pairs of earrings. And when you look at it that way, by charging 26, even 35, 40, if you're using finer materials, you're asking people to pay less than they would pay for 2 pairs of homemade earrings. Nice quality ones. So, but this will be listed for 26 in my Etsy store, probably before this video is uploaded. So as this video comes out, this will already be in my Etsy shop. So thank you so much. I hope you enjoy this and it inspires you to make your own beautiful bracelet. I'll kind of show you some of the beads, and I tell you how I do it and what I do to do the design. Thank you so much and enjoy this video. Bye. Okay, so now we're going to show you how to make the bracelet, and just so you understand, I'm sure I will have described it in the beginning of the video, but I am building the bracelet in this video. Then at the end of the video, I record the bracelet being done and showing you at the beginning of the video. So right now, there's no bracelet. And so basically what I'm doing is taking this chain, and there is a soldered link on there, which is fabulous, and then all I have to do is cut this to the length I need. I removed I had to restart the video. I was having really bad lighting issues. I took the lobster claw off, and it was on a giant ring because it was actually a double bracelet. So it was like this, and they were both connected to this on one side, lobster claw on the other. So I wanted to get it on camera, but I didn't. So luckily this is soldered on, and it's a very pretty ring. So that'll be what we hook into. Now we got to figure out how long. Now if you're making it for yourself, simply measure your wrist and then just cut there. Keep in mind that you are going to have a bunch of charms, but they shouldn't affect the width of the bracelet like a beaded bracelet would be. When you make an elastic bracelet and you put beads that go around your wrist, if they're round beads, they're going to hold the string out. So you have to adjust your size to that. But since this is actually going to be just a chain, you can just measure your wrist. And so for me, I'll do it about that wide. And I don't have a huge wrist. I have an average size wrist. Let's see how long that will be. That would be about, I guess it's a pretty big wrist. So maybe we'll change it to about a 7.5. So it's not quite so big. Now, the thing is great about charm bracelets is you can make them bigger or smaller. And you might say, well, I only have this big of a piece of chain. That's true. And if you only have a chain that's 7 inches and you want to make an 8-inch bracelet, okay, now make sure you leave it on the side that has the hook. So you want to make sure that you leave the chain hooked to the side that you want to use and unhook the other side. Then you simply take your pliers and close that link. There. These are nice big flat links, easy to open up. Now what you're going to do is count your links. Now I personally like to put a charm on every link. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Then I'm going to put the ring back on the back. Oh no, it's the wrong ring. We're going to put the lobster claw on there. Now you can put this giant ring if you want to put a charm on it. So actually we could put the big ring that the lobster claw was on. And maybe we'll do that and we'll put a really pretty bead on there, because what we can do is weigh down the lobster claw so it stays underneath your wrist, because you don't want to see the lobster claw. You pretty much want to see the top of the beaded bracelet. So if we can weigh that down with maybe a really heavy charm, I'll do that a lot of times on a beaded bracelet that I'm doing a clasp on. I will do an extra heavy bead on the clasp so that it pulls it below. So like that's when you could use something like a big glass heart, something like that. And I don't know if I'll do anything quite that big. Now I'm going to show you some of the materials I use to do charm bracelets. Now obviously single beads are great. You can take a bead of any size or shape and you can combine them together and you can make charms. So I have a few here. I'll probably stop the camera and add a few, but I might not need to, because also what you can use is single earrings. Oh, they're starting to roll around. Single earrings, charms you've maybe made for a previous project, and there's also charms. You can get, like, this is going to be Valentine's Day, so I got out a bunch of heart charms. This is a charm I bought in a multi-pack together. Now, I can either use it like that or take it apart and actually use that spacer between two of these beads, which probably is what I'll do. And then you can pull out some fun beads like this. Now, I don't know if I can use this bead, because I don't know if I can get a head pin up through it. Let's see. Let's see if we can do it. I'm not sure if a head pin, no. Let's see. Yeah, this one we might not be able to use. Looks like it's something I'll have to stitch onto something. So you got to assess what beads you can and cannot use. Now, I have some charms like this that were single earrings that I purchased. These I did not make. Some of them are beaded. Some of them have a charm and a bead. None of these were ones I made. Some are just like an actual earring like that. And I'm not saying all of them will be usable. I did not make that one. And some of it you can take elements off. Like, I don't know if I want green in it, but I can take the pink pearl and the pink spacer off and use those in something else. Sorry, that's my phone. I forgot to turn it off. And then I can show you some I made. Now, every so often I will sit down when I'm going to do a project and make a whole bunch of charms. Now, oh, I also didn't make this. This is a pair of earrings, and I might have made it. I don't recall. I don't think I made it, but it's possible I did. But I'll make a bunch of charms up. Now, I didn't make this one either. This was off of a recent project I took apart. This one I kind of made because I took the gold bead that was pushed through. See how I looped it? And I put a pearl instead. I might change it to a sparkly bead. These are all beads I made for projects that didn't end up getting used. And I keep quite a few of these on hand. And then some are single beads that I had for projects. That either I made them, and some of them I might not have. Then this is a piece that I think I made. Some of them I might have made, and some of them I might not have, and at this point I don't know. Here's some more single beads. So there's single pearls. I always have a bunch of pearls. And then the other thing you can do is, I love these clusters. Now this is gold, so it won't work, but I love these leaves, and I love these red beads, and I can definitely use these in a gold bracelet. Not like this. I'll take some of the beads off. But I love the little plastic leaves. Those will absolutely come in really handy on a project. And then this kind of stuff I buy oftentimes at Michael's or Hobby Lobby. You get a string like this for a couple bucks. And I think I got this one actually at a yard sale or something. I don't think I bought this at the store. So you can say, oh, well, I like that purple bead, or the flower's pretty, or maybe I can use, you know, whatever elements on that you like. Here's some pearl earrings. Same thing. Let me see if they're signed. So we'll see if we can take them apart or not, because I do double check everything before I use it and make sure that they're not valuable before I take them apart. These are Sarah Coventry, probably not valuable. I'll double check them before I take them apart. This was a bracelet necklace I took apart on the channel. These are stone, and these are gorgeous, and a little bit of leaf and this purple bead for sure would be beautiful in this bracelet. This is another piece. I'm just showing you what you can use, but this is blue, so I won't use it. Now you could use something like this by itself on a different kind of project, like a pendant, or you can actually cut the chain and take the beads off, whichever you prefer. Now that's blue. We're not going to use it. Pieces of necklace. I took this necklace apart on camera a while back, and you can use it, the individual beads with a charm underneath, and we'll do some of that. Here's another piece. It's an earring that I can take all those individual beads apart. Now this one, I could leave one of these under it or put one of the other drops below it. Same with this. This is, again, the wrong color, but to give you an idea, this is a broken bracelet I got, or necklace, that I can take these chained parts off and reuse them. Now this was a piece I was very excited about. These are some gorgeous drops. Now on this necklace we could use the pink, the purple, or the white on this one. And then beaded chains, ugly beaded chains that are broken, like this one here, have some interesting elements. Let me get it untangled. This has some interesting elements. They're like a foil looking. So like the purple and the pink and the gold, I won't use the gold, but I don't think I'll use the big ones, but some of these smaller foil looking beads are kind of pretty, and those would come in real handy. Here's a single earring that has two elements we can use. We can open it up and take this off and just use the purple bead. Oops, I got it out of frame. We can open it up and take this off and just use the purple glass bead, or you can even use the whole thing like this, or put this on a different bead. And then, oh, here's another single charm that fell. Now this was, I believe, supposed to be a bookmark, which we're going to do some of these on the channel. And these are all silver, so I could use any of those in this bracelet if I wanted. I try to, on my charm bracelets, I usually do single metal. Now, believe it or not, you could use something like this. It's got missing stones. It's not worth repairing, but look at all these single charms. Now, again, this is gold, so I won't use it for this project. But look at all those single charms. And do you know how many of these necklaces come in the junk jewelry lots? Varying, and they don't have to have the rhinestone spacers. Just all these wonderful little beads. So they're a wonderful thing to harvest off of. So this is just a small fraction of what I can use to make this. So I'm going to start with what I have, and then if I need more, I'll go get more. But I think this will get us started nicely. I don't think I need to get anything else right away. So what we're going to do is, and I forgot how many charms I needed, but that's fine. We'll recount later. You're probably yelling at me right now. But I'll probably start kind of figuring out what I already have made up and what I need to make up. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll pick the focal pieces that I really, really like that I want to use. Let's say if I want to use that pretty flower. Now, I don't think I will use that flower because of the way it's on there. It's got two sideways. But I do like this purple flower with the leaf on it. So all I have to do is open that jump ring, and I will have to get a bigger jump ring to hook it onto the bracelet. But this is sold to be used for parts. That's what they sell these little bits for. So you just get it there, and you just open the jump ring, and there. So see, it makes its own charm, which actually I can take that all the way off, because look at, Look at, I can use it like this if I want. I can use it with the leaf, but what I might do is over top of the leaf hang a small green bead. So I'll probably go get a small green bead to hang down in front of that leaf. But that'll be a cute charm. So you can find the ones that you think are kind of focals and figure out where you'd like to put them. Now, that might be too long for you. You might, let me move it so you can see it. You might say, oh, no, that's too long of a charm. So let's say that's too long of a charm. Then we can take and open that jump ring up. And I think it would be for most people. Some people like long charms, but I think most of us, these pliers are magnetic. Most of us don't like charms that hang that long. So that would be cute to use for a necklace maybe, but for this, we'll go ahead and, let me see, where is that? Oh, okay, hold on. See if I've got the split up on top. Yeah, I do. There it is. Okay. So we'll take the leaf off, and we'll take this little charm, and we'll pick a bead to hang off of that. So we'll figure out maybe that could go in the middle or something like that. And then what we can do is figure out what bead we like. Do we want to do purple on that? Do we want to do green? Would we like to hang something clear? And you can just kind of set a bead under it and figure out what you like. Now, since that hangs down long, you might just want to do like something small like that. You know, or here's the stone leaves, and there's a little tiny stone leaf. Now that might be fun. It might still be too long, so we might want to do just a little tiny green bead like that. But that's what you do, is you figure it out. Now that might not work out because no matter what you put on there, it's too long, and that's fine too. So you just kind of look and say, okay, well, I really like a heart there. And I'll be honest, most of my charm bracelets do have a few longer charms. So I probably would use this with a small bead under it. I'm thinking I like the idea of using this little tiny leaf right here. So I'm going to unhook that little tiny leaf, and I can use its actual head pin to connect it. And I like this because it's a light green. Oh, and it even has red on the bottom, which is, since it's a Valentine's piece, that'll work perfect. So I'm going to get in here. I'm going to open this and pull that off, and then I'll simply hook it to the built-in ring at the bottom of the charm. So the charm has its own little built-in ring, see? You find the funnest part is it wants to turn as you're trying to hook it. Okay, there we go. I find it's easier to hang it off while you're trying to hook it. And then just close it up. Back to normal. And isn't that cute? It even has a little red bead on it. So there you go. And then I don't put anything together till now I still like the little leaf a lot. Now I could have hung the leaf under there, but because I had a loop on the end, I couldn't really do that. So this would be fun to use under, say, a flower like this. You could hang the leaf under the flower, but I'm just going to use that flower. See, this is part of an earring. So I'm going to open this up, take it off. Now I'll probably have to put this on a jump ring. I'm not sure I'm fond of that flower either. So I'm going to take this completely apart because that can be used for something else. And we will find a bead and a bead to put above it that we really like. Now since that's a big one, that could actually go in the middle. And then you can find a bead that you really like to go above it. Now I had those green. Now here's this piece here. Has some nice green beads on it. And I'm going to definitely harvest some of this. So we're just going to cut the head pin off at the top like this. And dump all the pieces onto the table. Because I'm never going to use that charm the way it is. And then I can take any of the beads that came off of it for, like if I want to put a small green one. Here's a purple that we already had. I can use a pink. But you're going to kind of, what I do, and I oftentimes will take a head pin. Now in the case of the flower, what you're going to want to do is get out your pins. Let me find my, oh, my head pins. And you want to take and anything you know you're going to use as a charm on the piece. So you're absolutely sure that that's going to be a piece you're going to use. Go ahead and get the head pin out. And I'm just going to get you set up, and then I'll come back and show you what I've done, because this would be a 5-hour video if I showed you every step, and nobody wants to watch that. So what I do is I usually will find the piece I definitely know I want to use and put it on a head pin. And the reason you do that is because now, okay, I've got to get it closed up. Cannot wait to get into the eye doctor. Anyway, once it's closed up like that, now you can play, because you can put a bead on there and say, oh, do I like that one? No, I don't. Do I like the purple one? See? And just lay it up there, and then don't loop it till you're sure of it. Just kind of lay it up against your chain. And so basically I'm going to do that for this whole chain. I love this just the way it is. See, this charm is gorgeous. Now, unfortunately, I'm going to have to, luckily the earring does open, and since there's only one, it really doesn't matter if it broke. But I can just take this, it's a wire wrapped piece. I will have to put a jump ring on it. But isn't that beautiful? And that'll be perfect just by itself. And since I've got 3 flowers, I'll try to space the flowers so that I have them on different parts of the piece. Now we want some hearts, so maybe instead of a flower in the middle, I'll put a big heart. And I've got these beautiful hearts that look like floating hearts in the middle. And I'll do the same thing with that. I'll take a pin. Now that's a decent sized charm, so we don't want to put too big of a bead on top. But I have a great idea for that, because I have this piece here that has some gorgeous bicone crystals. And so I can pull one of those beautiful crystals off and put that on there. See, I don't know if you can see it, it's so light pink. And lay that down there. And then I'm going to go through and I'm going to recount this, and I usually write it down, but I was talking to you. I'm going to pick which heart charms I want to use, and I'm going to go ahead and any charm I'm going to use, I'm going to go ahead and open a head pin, a loop pin, and put it on there, and start experimenting. And then I'll just lay them out so that I know where I want. But I'm only going to do like maybe 3 hearts and 3 flowers. The rest are going to be beaded charms, because you can overwhelm it unless you're making a personal charm bracelet where every charm has a meaning, or you just like a lot of charms. Now there's beads like this that I use for the beaded charms that have a lot of character. This is a flower, so I can take this bead, and if I put it on a head pin, and this is 90% of this is from old jewelry, put this on here, then I can take any color. I can take a light green and put it on there. I can do a light pink, or this is actually a very bright pink. This is off of that piece I just cut. I can put that on there. I can do a clear bead. But you can play around till you like it, and then just lay it down. Once I have all the charms made that I need to do the piece, I look at it, make sure I like where everything is, move it around till I'm happy with where everybody is, and then I start hooping them onto the thing. So what I'm going to do is I'll show you 1 or 2 more. Now see, this would be a really cute charm with just a small bead hanging below it, or it could even be a head pin situation where you simply put this kind of bead, you have to worry about it falling off. So I will put this tiny black one on to the head pin. Trying to keep unframe and see at the same time. There we go. Oop. Hard to get it into. This is how come I end up off a frame, because let me take my glasses off. I actually see better without them up close. But this is why I end up out of frame, because I'm trying to see. Okay, so we'll put that on, and then that will hold that on. And then we can pick what color bead to put on top. Now I like the idea of this bright pink one. So that might be one I use. We'll see how it blends in. So I'm going to sit here and I'm going to make up a bunch of charms but not loop them. And I'll come back and show you everything I've done. Now we've already got 23 minutes in, so the next two steps I'm going to keep real short. I will show you what I got finished but not looped. Then I will loop them and come back and show you them looped. And then I'll start putting them on and then come back with the finished bracelet. But I'm going to try to keep each step down to a couple minutes. So I will be to you right back, but it'll probably be a couple hours for me. Okay, now I actually have a couple extra here, but I'm just trying to make up a bunch, and some were already made. So what I'll do is after they're all made up, then you're going to sit there. Show you some of them. Now some of these I found in my stash, already made up. This was a really cool looking head pin, and I put it on the bottom because that's what you're going to see on a charm bracelet. Keep in mind the bottom is what you're going to see. You want to put the prettiest stuff on the bottom. Now some stuff like this, I did use this on the top because it was already made up, and I added a drop on the bottom. This was another really cool one that, yeah, I could reverse it. And maybe that's what we'll do, is we'll reverse it so that the pretty bead cap's on the bottom. So basically, I'd have to find something to put on there because the head pin comes right through. But this has green in it, so I could take this little tiny green bead, put that underneath, put that on the bottom, and then put this pink one on top. Because you really do see the bottom of the charms more. So that would make more sense to make it facing that way. That way you see the really cool bead cap. Now there's some like this. I probably won't use that one. It's too plain. There's this one, has a little bit of pink between the pink spacer between the red and the clear. I've got the flower we did earlier. I've got another flower here that we did. And then some more plain ones. I like to have a few of these that are very simple. This was a bead that I took the other beads off the bottom and just hung a few pearls. I thought this was an interesting, it's not really a bead cap, a spacer, I guess. Whether I'll use that one or not, I don't know. This is another one I already had made up. This is one I took apart and redid. I like the color. And then I have a bunch that I just put a charm with a single bead. This one has a really gorgeous carved kind of look. Rose bead with a vintage crystal. This is another one that I took the dangle that was on it off and put one of the, it had like a whole bunch of things hanging off it, and I put one of the dangles that came with it back on it. I found these cute little Cupid charms, and I'll just do him by himself. Simple purple and clear. This one was bigger, and I took one bead off to make it more simple. Another simple one. Then this one I found like it is and just used it. I put a big pink bead on here with this, like, it's kind of a dark pinkish red enamel. It's another simple one I made. This one was kind of unusual. Not really pink and not really, it's kind of a pinkish color, I guess. Kind of pretty. I love this style of bead. That's another simple one. This is, I took off the pearl or whatever it was. I think I had a pearl. Put a pink one and then a green one on the back because you're going to see it hanging kind of like that. So I wanted it pretty from both sides. There's a beautiful one of these. This was a neck bracelet I took apart with a crystal. And then one more simple one. Now I'll make all of them up And then for the weight, I want to do a weighted one for the back so that the clasp will stay down. So I'll either use a large faceted bead or a flat large faceted bead and hook that on the clasp so that it'll pull the clasp around to the bottom of the arm so that when you're wearing it, the charms are on top and the clasp is on the bottom. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hook all of these, and when I come back they'll be all hooked, and I'll show you how I start putting it together. Okay, now I added a couple more as I was going through, and I did switch this one so that the rhinestones are on the bottom. Now I believe this was a vintage piece. This is a great way to use your one-of-a-kind special pieces, and you can do a bracelet that's all fancy, but I like to throw in a few simple ones in between, but you don't have to. Like this one's fairly simple. It's just a little ceramic heart. And then this one is upside down so that you can see the pretty. So basically what I'll do at that point is I kind of lay out the bracelet, and I know that I have 33 links. So I'm going to pick 33 of these out, and what I'll just kind of do is start, like this is another one I just made. I had this link here and I added the pearl to it. So we'll see which ones we don't use. But just kind of, basically what I do is I just figure I'm just going to lay out my favorites. So the ones I know I want for sure, I'll start laying them out just in a row. They don't have to be in any order, because then after you get them all laid out, the ones that you know you want to use, and I always make up extra because I like having made up charms. And I think that one's too long. I made it too long. I like the little Cupid charm. Once I always like having a few extra because then I use them for projects. And I'm going to be doing a bunch of other Valentine projects. So then you're just going to lay them out and figure out which ones you want. Make sure you have enough charms to do. And make sure then at that point, like I don't want to have a bunch of these rhinestone things right next to each other. So I will lay them all out. I will count and see how many I have, and then I will simply start moving them around till I get the ones I like together. Like here's two pinks next to each other, and when I'm done I won't have two little pinks. This is another one I just took off. It was off that string, this thing here. And I just took off the flower and left the little rhinestone that was on there. And I like the deep purple. It's plastic, but that's okay. I got to cut a little piece off at the top of that. Here's another one that has a rhinestone on it. And it is red with a clear rhinestone. So once I get them all laid out, then I'll start maneuvering them around, moving them around. I don't want two flowers right next to each other. I don't want two hearts next to each other. So when I come back, I'll show you the order I have them in, and then we'll start linking them onto the thing. I also, see this I would love to put as my weighted piece, but it doesn't weigh enough. So I'm going to use one of these heavier glass pieces. I do have a big round faceted, but I think I also have a big glass heart that I might dig out and use. I got these glass hearts too. Might use one of those. But something heavy on the clasp to hold it down so that it will stay with the pretty side up. It's just a little trick I learned that really helps. So when I come back, I'll figure out which ones I'm going to use, and I'll show you what I picked, and then we're going to start putting them onto the bracelet. Okay, I wanted to show you that I got started, and how I do this is I line them up in the order that I want them to go onto the charm bracelet. So I'm real careful about mixing the colors. So I mixed the reds and the pinks and the purples as best I could, and the hearts and the flowers, and just laid them out so they'd look the best. And then I just, like, the next one will be this one, and then I'll move my way down the line until they're all on there. At the end, on this clasp, you don't want to put it where you're going to hook. You want it to be on the clasp. I'm going to add this big heavy charm. Here, let me get better. The lighting just really is driving me crazy. I know I could put a big fluorescent light up, but I can't use a fluorescent light with my bad eye. Fluorescent lights are horrible for me. So I'll figure it out. But anyway, this is a little better, just going straight up and down. So this will get hooked onto this piece right here. So right here, when I'm done. But I'm going to come back and show you. I'll start with this red one, which will go right there. And I try to keep them facing somewhat the same. This one has a link like this and then a link like this. So I put it on the top and then the bottom, the top and then the bottom, to kind of keep them hanging right. Every chain is different. Now if you use a curved chain, it's flat. Then I put them along the whole bottom. But you can put them top and bottom. But pick a pattern, it'll look better. If they're rounded, like they have the same picture, like this is a two-sided charm. So the back is not as pretty. So you want them to lay a certain way. It's better when you can use a two-sided charm. That's the best idea for doing the bracelets. But here's my big mess of creative stuff. But what I'm going to do is a few more Valentine projects. Then I'm going to make a lot of pink and red and purple beads. And I'm going to list that lot of beads on Etsy. And I'll let you know when I do that. And I might put some specialty beads like some of these pretty beads or these hearts. But it's going to be like Valentine colors. And I'll probably be doing that in a couple days. So I'll let you know when I do. I am filming this on Saturday. I believe it's the 22nd, whatever Saturday was. You will be seeing this on Wednesday, following that Saturday. And I don't know what the date is. Let me see. Pull up my phone. Let's see. Today's the 22nd. And this video will be shown on, it'll be dropping on the 26th. So you'll be seeing this on Wednesday the 26th, but I'm recording on the 22nd. I'm hoping to get those beads and a few more projects done this week, and then those beads listed by the end of the week. So if nothing else, I'll put a community board notice up when I do list them. But for anybody that wants a selection, because it'll be all kinds of miscellaneous, beads. I will be using a lot of them, but I want to do a few more Valentine's Day projects. So when I come back, this bracelet will be completed, and I will show you the finished product. Well, here is the finished bracelet. And I put the big heart at the end, which will be where it hooks. It just was a lot of fun. I did a lot of really fancy beaded charms. I did a lot of simple ones. But, I had fun. Like, here's one that I did a lot of layers on. And then here's just some simple, just a couple beads on a thing, on a head pin. That's the fun part of doing this type of a bracelet, is it can be as simple or as complicated as you want it. If you want to make every little bead a work of art, or every little charm a work of art, you can do that. And I do a little bit of both. I do some real fancy ones using some of these one-of-a-kind, really neat vintage or even modern, this one's vintage pieces. And it just makes it one-of-a-kind and fun. Now, I've made these beaded bracelets for years. People call them cha-cha bracelets, beaded bracelets, charm bracelets, beaded charm bracelets. There's really no end to the names for them. I routinely sold them for about $26, because you figure if you're looking at 33 single charms, if you divide that in half, that's over 15 pairs of earrings. So if you were buying 15 pairs of hand-beaded earrings, it'd probably be 2 of them for the $26, if you think of it that way. So it's actually a pretty good deal, and I never had problems selling them. I sold quite a few of these over the years. And I love the big red heart, which will help hold it on to your wrist. Well, not hold it onto your wrist, but kind of help keep it so that the pretty side is up and the clasp is down, but the bead is so pretty it really doesn't matter which way you do it. This is a glass faceted bead, really beautiful. Just a fun bracelet. These are a blast to make. And even this bead isn't, or that charm isn't terrible on the other side. The other side just has a tiny rhinestone. But just a lot of fun. And a great way to use up the one-of-a-kind earrings, or, well, earrings too, but beads. So if you have a bunch of beads that you only have a couple of each one, or you've taken apart some jewelry, like a lot of this stuff is, I would say over half of this, probably, if I had to guess, 60 to 70% of this is jewelry I took apart, and a good 30 to 40% are brand new beads. Some of it, like this stuff, is brand new beads, and there might be some used ones in here too. But just a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed this. It wasn't so much as a tutorial as to show you what you can do with your beads and how much fun you can have just creating something different. And if you buy big lots of jewelry, you're going to have lots of chain that you can use. It doesn't matter what size the link is, as long as it's big enough to link on charms. Obviously you can't use like one of those snaky, silky chains. It has to have some kind of loop on it. But you can use great big loops. You can use small loops. Here's a curved chain. That's my favorite chain to work with because it all sits flat. And when you lay it out flat, it's much easier to put all the charms on one side. This chain had links that went this way and then this way, and then this way. So I couldn't lay them all flat, which is my preference. And I have curved chain in silvers and brass, and this is a broken bracelet that I can put back together. That is, sorry about that. That is a steel, like the gunmetal look. That was my make dinner alarm. Forgot to turn my phone off. So anyway, oops, sorry. I'll be back soon, and I hope you enjoyed this. I'll talk to you later. Bye.